Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Rock and Roll for the latest installment of Building the Team. So, first off, covering last week, we went with the Black Order lineup. Went 1 and 2. It was almost 2 and 1, but time and, in all honesty, poor map choice. So, this week, the build is 400 points, no universe mixing. Okay, I rarely do anyway, unless, we're looking at Atlantis. Maybe the Outlaws somewhere down the line, but, Meaning, basically, you can only have, a team can only have either Marvel characters, DC characters, Ninja Turtles characters, you have to, yeah. So, sadly, we don't yet get to have Batman teaming up with the Ninja Turtles. But I will probably make that team at some point just for the shits and giggles of it. Anyway, moving on to the actual teams we built for this week. First off, we've got ourselves a Thunderbolts team. So, I probably brought this up before, but for those who don't know where the Thunderbolts are, basically Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad in some ways. They started off as a team of villains. They were a team of villains masquerading as heroes in the absence of the Avengers and the Fantastic Four after Onslaught. But it was all, like I said, they were masquerading as heroes, and it was all it was part of a plan of Baron Zemos to take over the world. But many of the members actually realized they liked being a hero, so they turned against him. Then it became so they became more about redemption and whatnot. Hawkeye was their leader for a while. They've had government backing. For a while, they actually were more in line with being Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad. But there have been various versions since. We actually do not have a current version of Thunderbolts for some reason. Anyway, the team has also had quite the lineup over the years. And this will actually feature members from one, two, at least 4 different lineups. So yeah. Anyway, starting off, we've got Bullseye. Now, this Bullseye was not covered on our Old and Busted or New Hotness video because he didn't exist. This is actually a new Bullseye figure from a recent organized play kit. So yeah, but Bullseye comes in at 65 points. He's got Dark Avengers, Thunderbolts, Assassin, and Martial Artist keywords. He also has improved targeting, ignores hindering terrain and characters, which is very handy actually. Look at the dial, we've got ourselves a few clicks of running shot, followed by a couple of clicks of sidestep. On attack, we've got ourselves 3 clicks of the special power, I Never Miss. Gives him precision strike, but it can instead target more than one character. And he's got 3 targets, so go him. On defense, we've got ourselves some, a click of energy shield deflection, followed by a couple of clicks of willpower, and then back to energy shield deflection. Damage, we have the special power Ever. Power ability control, but only target himself. So, if you did flub an attack roll from that Bullseye was making, he can, you can re-roll it because he never misses ever. That's followed up by a couple clicks of Ranged Combat Expert. Next up, we've got ourselves Songbird. Now, Songbird's actually a founding member. This is from the Civil War organized play storyline set, or storyline organized play set, or slop set. She comes in at 70 points, has the Femizons, Master Duel, Pro Registration, and Thunderbolts keywords. And she's got a trait, Justice Like Lightning. After an action resolves, during which Songbird damaged 1 or more opposing characters with an attack, roll a d6 that can't be re-rolled. On a 5 or a 6, remove an action token from a friendly character with Thunderbolts keyword within 4 squares. So you basically want to keep people close to her, especially when she's attacking. Looking at the dial, we got ourselves some sidestep, That gives way to Force Blast, which then gives way to Running Shot. On attack, we open up with a special power, Sonic Constructs. Songbird can use Force Blast, Incapacitate, and Telekinesis. That will actually be very useful. That gives way to Energy Explosion and then Pulse Wave. On defense, we open up with Barrier, always good, which gives way to Super Senses, and then on damage, we open up with Leadership for a little bit, which is going to be very useful. So she's got 2 ways to remove tokens. Always useful. Leadership and Justice like Lightning trait. Next up, we've got the Winter Soldier. This is actually the prize figure from the Avengers, Black Panther, and the Illuminati sealed events. Alright, so Winter Soldier comes in at 70 points. He's got the Hydra, Shield, Thunderbolts, Assassin, Soldier, and Spy keywords, as well as the Hydra and Shield team abilities. And improved targeting ignores hindering terrain. Okay. He also has a trait, Cybernetic Arm, gives him Close Combat Expert, and Super Senses, but his Super Senses only succeeds on a 6, so you have to be careful with that. Looking at the dial, we got a couple clicks of Running Shot, followed by a couple clicks of Sidestep, followed by a couple clicks of Stealth. On attack, we open up with a couple clicks of Energy Explosion, followed by a couple clicks of Precision Strike. On defense, we open up with half the dial is Toughness, the other half is Willpower. And on damage, this is where he really shines. The whole dial, he has a special power, Eliminating Targets. Range Combat Expert. Give Winter Soldier a range action. Make it a 2 range attacks. And yes, he can do that in conjunction with Running Shot. It's like Charge and Flurry, but shooting. And he's got 7 damage. So yeah. Moving on to Elektra. This is the uncommon from Black Panther and the Illuminati, which we featured on our on the sealed team, the sealed game report. Anyway, she comes in at 75 points. Has the Thunderbolts, Assassin, Martial Artist keywords, as well as improved targeting. Can make ranged combats out of adjacency, including against an opposing character she's adjacent to. We got shifting focus, but we're not worrying about that. I'm not bringing the other either of the other Elektras. Then we also have the other trait is Elektra Contest of Champions. Once per turn, when Elektra KOs an opposing character, you may roll a d6. If you do, after resolutions, Elektra makes a number of attacks equal to half the result. Close her range in any combination. Okay. And one thing to note is that it does not say she has to target a different character with each attack. So, say she's adjacent to 2 characters. KO is one of them, and she can. And, oh, hey, I rolled. I rolled a 6 on that. So I'm just gonna use those 3 attacks again until I KO you. Now, other to note though is it says once per turn. So if she were to KO the other figure, that's that. All right, looking at the dial, we got ourselves a couple clicks of Running Shot, followed by a few clicks of Sidestep, a couple clicks of Penetrating Psychic Blast at the beginning of the dial, and a couple clicks of Precision Strike at the end of the dial. Once again, we got half the dial. We got half a dial of Super Senses and half a dial of Willpower, kind of like Winter Soldier, but with some slightly different powers. On damage, she opens up with nothing but clicks into Range Combat Expert. Okay. And I'm actually kind of glad she clicks into Range Combat Expert after she loses Running Shot, because you can't use the 2 together. So, yeah. Finally, we've got the Punisher. This is from when Punisher was on the Thunderbolts. He was actually part of a team that was put together by the Red Hulk, also known as General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. And this lineup included Elektra, Deadpool, Ghost Rider, and various others. And except for the name, really has nothing in common with the other versions. Anyway, so Punisher comes in at 100 points. He's got the Heroes for Hire, Marvel Knights, Soldier, and Thunderbolts keywords. He's got a trait, and this is one of the big things about him. The guilty must be punished. Once for all characters with this ability, each time an opposing character hits a friendly character, put a guilty token on that character's card, on the attacker's card. When Punisher attacks a character, modify his attack value by +1 for each guilty token on its card, and modify his damage value by 1 for every 2 tokens on its card. Now, looking at the dial, we open up with Running Shot, which gives way to Stealth. Okay. Then we've got on attack, we've got the Sharpshooter ability, so he can also make range attacks out of adjacency and even including against a figure he's adjacent to. But he's got a special power called Frag Grenade. Punisher can use Energy Explosion. When he does, it targets only one character. Damage on his penetrating damage. Okay. Then on defense, he's Indomitable, so built-in willpower. Yay. You got 2 toughness, followed by combat reflexes. On damage, we got a special power, Concentrated Fire. Punisher can use Ranged Combat Expert as a ranged combat action. Now, how this helps. He can basically use Ranged Combat Expert with Running Shot, so he could actually, I think. But I think what you could basically do then is use the modifications of 1 and 1, 2 to attack, 2 to damage, whatever, with Running Shot. Used to be you could use it with the Energy Explosion. But I think that's how they have nerfed. That's how the figure got a little nerfed. That gives way to Outwit. Now these figures are not the only things we have on the team. We've got 3 pieces of equipment. First off, we have the Beetle Pod, which will probably be which will most likely go on Bullseye. Give him flight, toughness, and speed +2. Next up, we've got the Goblin Glider, which will most likely go on Winter Soldier, at least at first. Give him flight and Running Shot, and while he has Running Shot, he'll also have hypersonic speed. And then finally, we've got the Venom Symbiote, which will most likely be going on Elektra, as she can make attacks. But yeah, anyway, the Venom Symbiote gives plasticity and shape change, and the ability to automatically break away. That's our Thunderbolts team. Next, we have ourselves a Justice League team. We'll start things off with the Atom. So the Atom comes in at 75 points and has the JLA team ability as well as the Justice League and Scientist keywords. He also has a trait White Dwarf Star Matter, allowing him to use stealth. We open up with a special power on speed, Ride the Phone Lines. The Atom can use phasing teleport. When he's given a move action, if he occupies a square with an unheld object, before moving, you may place him in any other square with an object, which can really get him, put him very far along the map. That gives way to charge. On attack, we've got Precision Strike. Do we have to start? Yes, we have it to start with. On defense, we've got Super Senses. On damage, we open up with Outwit, which gives way to Perplex, which then gives way to Close Combat Expert. Okay. Next up, we've got Cyborg. Okay, I love this sculpt. I really do. Cyborg comes in at 75 points. He's got the Teen Titans team ability, as well as the Justice League, Teen Titans, and Robot keywords, as well as the trait Titans Reborn. When he's given a move action, after resolutions, he can use the Titans team ability at no cost. But nobody else has on the team has the Titans team ability, so yeah. Alright, looking at the dial, we've got ourselves some running shot, a little bit of running shot, followed by some sidestep. On attack, we get the special power Sonic Arm Cannon, which gives a penetrating psychic blast. When he uses it to target a single opposing character he generates knockback. Okay. Defensively speaking, he's got Indomitable, which makes perfect sense, because, yeah. But he opens up with Invulnerability, which gives way to Toughness. Damage, we open up with Enhancement, which gives way to Perplex. Moving on, we've got Aquaman. Aquaman here comes in at 80 points. He's got the JLA team ability. When he's given a move action, he gets +1 to his movement, to his speed. He's got 3 traits as well, which we'll get to in a second. But yeah, anyways, JLA team ability, Atlantis, Justice League, and Ruler keywords. Now, the 3 traits. First off, we've got Leading the Charge. When Aquaman makes the first attack during a turn and hits, until your next turn, other friendly characters with the Justice League keyword can use Exploit Weakness. That'll be very good for some of the other members of the team. Next up, we have King of Atlantis. If Aquaman occupies water terrain, he has free move up to 4 squares. Okay? And finally, we've got I Don't Talk to Fish. Mind Control is a free action with a range of 8 and 3 targets, but only to target characters with the swim ability. So, looking at the dial, we open up with some charge and some sidestep. Goes back to charge. On attack, we open up with Super Strength, which gives way to Blaze, which then goes back to Super Strength. Defensively speaking, he's Indomitable as well. Power-wise, we've got some Invulnerability, which gives way to Combat Reflexes, then back to Invulnerability. On damage, we open up with Leadership, which then gives way to Empower. Not too shabby for 80 points. Next up, we've got Green Arrow, coming in at a whopping 85 points. He's got the Justice League team ability as well as the Justice League Elite, Martial Artist, Politician, and Star City keywords. He also has a trait, Trick Arrows. Green Arrow begins the game with 5 Trick Arrow tokens. Give him a free action to remove a Trick Arrow token and choose Energy Explosion, Incapacitate, Precision Strike, or Penetrating Psychic Blast. Green Arrow can use that power this turn. Generally speaking, when I'm using them, I usually just pick Penetrating Psychic Blast, so yeah. Alright, so he opens up with some running shot, which gives way to sidestep. He's got nothing on attack. On defense, he opens up with energy deflection, which gives way to super senses, which then gives way to combat reflexes. And on damage, he clicks into range combat expert, but he doesn't start with or anything really on damage. Moving on, we've got Batman. I made the mistake of thinking, because for something like this, he was holding up his rope gun, but no, that's a batarang. So, Batman here comes in at 85 points. He's got the Justice League and Outsiders team abilities. Now, the Outsiders team ability, what that does is it allows him to, at the beginning of the turn, target an opposing character as far as I know, within 10 squares, and yeah, that character cannot have their combat values modified. Well, actually, he can target a character. It doesn't have to be opposing. A character within like I said, I believe 10 squares, and that character's combat values cannot be modified, which can be useful for, and that's until the beginning of your next turn. That can be useful for both your team and it can be useful to target your friendly characters as well as opposing characters. You can target a friendly character and, oh, hey, yeah, that, you can't perplex down my defense, or my damage, or my speed, whatever. You know, I'm immune to your. I can't be. But the problem there is they can't be targeted with friendly perplex either. So, yeah. Anyway, Batman brings the Batman family, Gotham City, Justice League, Outsiders, Trinity, and Detective keywords to the table. Why he doesn't have martial artists is beyond me, but so that one's not going to be on the Batman Ninja Turtles team. Then we got ourselves two traits. First is a leading the charge trait like Aquaman's. When he makes the first attack during a turn and hits, until your next turn, other friendly characters with the Justice League keyword have protected Outwit. Okay. Then we got, yeah, he does that. Lines of fire drawn to Batman are blocked unless the line of fire crosses only unoccupied clear squares. Okay. And I think the way that works is if it's printed as hindering, it's not considered a clear square. So even if a character has improved targeting, ignores hindering terrain. So he's going to be, yeah. Looking at the dial, we got ourselves a few clicks of the special power. Using your momentum against you. Charge, leap, climb, sidestep. When Batman breaks away, you may choose an opposing character he broke away from. If you do, after resolutions, place that character up to 2 squares away within line of fire from its current square. That can be useful to basically put someone out of range of a perplexer or adjacent to another attacker or in range of another attacker. So you got someone that's 8 squares away from Cyborg but adjacent to Batman. Batman breaks away and says, oh yeah, hey, you're going to move there. And suddenly he's within range of Cyborg, who does, hi, zap. Then we get a couple clicks of just sidestep. On attack, we've got a few clicks of incapacitate. Defense, he's indomitable as well, because he's Batman. So he opens up with a few clicks of combat reflexes and a couple clicks of, which gives way to a couple clicks of super senses. On damage, we open up with a couple clicks of outwit, which gives way to a couple clicks of perplex, and then back to outwit for the last click. And that is our Justice League team. Now we've got ourselves a Wakanda team. And to be fair, I've never built a Wakanda team before. I really just kind of went through all the figures I've got so far from Black Panther Illuminati that had the Wakanda keyword, and then saw what I could build with that, and added some points when needed. So, starting off, we've got ourselves a Wakandan scientist. So Wakandan Scientist comes in at 15 points, has the Wakanda and Scientist keywords. Then looking at the dial, we got a click of sidestep to start off with, followed by a couple clicks of stealth. On damage, we open up with the special power, we will start work right away, my king. Empower, but also affects other friendly characters with the Wakanda keyword within 3 squares. So basically, friendly characters within 3 squares of her that have the Wakanda keyword are considered to be adjacent to her for the purposes of using Empower. That's nice. I really like that. Anyway, there are a couple clicks of that. We get a click of Perplex. She's got a very short, 15 points, very short dial. Next up, we have Dora Milaje, Midnight Angel. Now these guys, I've actually finally gotten to see these guys in comic form. They fought against the War Angels during War of the Realms. And that's not all they've done, but yeah, they got to do that too. So anyway, so the Dora Milaje Midnight Angels have the Wakanda, Spy, and Warrior keywords. They have a trait Wakanda Forever. When KO'd, immediately after resolutions, heal a friendly character 1 click. If that friendly character has the Wakanda keyword, also modify their attack and damage by +1 until the end of your next turn. That can be super useful, especially if it's someone that has willpower in some form or fashion. Next up, anyways, looking at the dial, we get a couple clicks of stealth followed by a couple clicks of charge. On attack, we open up with the special power Wakandan Strike Team. Now, this is a unique modifier on a generic, which is a little irritating. Dora Milaje, Midnight Angel, and adjacent friendly characters modify attack +1 if they are closer to an opponent's starting area than their own. Okay. So the way I would see this would be you'd have multiple. If you had a few of them, you'd have them each with a group of friendly characters that would be spaced out on the map. That gives way to Precision Strike. On defense, we open up with Willpower, which gives way to Toughness. And on damage, we open up with Close Combat Expert for a couple clicks. Next up, we've got Shield Agent Everett K. Ross. Ross comes in at a whopping 30 points and has the Shield team ability. He also has the Shield, Wakanda, and Politician keywords. Looking at the dial, we open up with a click of Stealth, followed by a couple clicks of Sidestep. Nothing on attack. On defense, we open up with a couple clicks of Willpower, followed by a couple clicks of Mastermind. And on damage, we have the special power, I just sold my soul for a pair of pants. Gives him Perplex. And when he uses it, he may modify the chosen combat value by +2 instead. If he does, at the end of your turn, you roll a d6. On a 1 through 4, he takes 1 unavoidable damage. So you have to be careful with that +1, with that +2. Next up, we have ourselves a Dora Milaje. Dora Milaje comes in at 40 points and has the Wakanda and Warrior keywords. She also has the Wakanda Forever trait, just like the Midnight Angel. Also, she has the trait, We Live to Protect the King. Friendly characters with both the Black Panther, Wakanda and Ruler keywords can use Mastermind, but only to choose Dora Milaje. Also, Dora Milaje has Willpower, but only if a friendly character with both the Wakanda and Ruler keyword is on the map. Okay. Looking at the dial, we got ourselves some Sidestep, which gives way to Charge and then back to Sidestep. We open up blank on attack, but that gives way, but we click into Precision Strike and then Steal Energy. Okay. Defensively speaking, we open up with Toughness, which gives way to Defend. On damage, we've got Close Combat Expert for 1 click. And then eventually we get Exploit Weakness. Okay. Next up is Nakia. Nakia comes in at 45 points. She's got Wakanda, Spy, and Warrior keywords. She also has 2 traits. First off, for an additional 5 points, which I did not spend, but well, I spent initially in the build, but did not in the final version. Altar of Resurrection. When she'd be KO'd, instead, replace her with Malice from the same set on click number 5. If you do, after resolutions, roll a d6 and heal that Malice equal to half the result. And then it's got protected. She also has protected Pulse Wave. Then we have the Wakanda Forever trait, just like the Midnight Angel and Dora Milaje. Look at the dial, we open up with Stealth, which gives way to Running Shot, which gives way to Sidestep. Open on attack, it's blank, but that gives way to Precision Strike and then Blades. On defense, we got a few clicks of Willpower, followed by a couple clicks of Combat Reflexes. And on damage, we open up with Perplex, and eventually click into a couple clicks of Exploit Weakness. Next up, we've got Black Panther. Not T'Challa, but another Black Panther. Black Panther comes in at 45 points. He has the Wakanda and Police keywords as well as the PD team ability. He also has improved movement, ignores hindering and elevated terrain. And he has a trait for an initial 5 points, which I didn't spend at all because I don't have the figure in question, but granted the mantle of White Tiger. When Black Panther will be KO'd, you may instead replace him with White Tiger on click number 5. Same thing as Altar of Resurrection. Looking at the dial, we've got a click of Stealth followed by a few clicks of Leap Climb. Nothing on attack, not even Blades, which is kind of sad. On damage, we open up with Willpower and then a few clicks of Super Senses. On damage, we got a couple clicks of Perplex, followed by a couple clicks of Range Combat Expert. Next up, we've got Eric Killmonger. You may recognize Eric as the villain from Black Panther. Eric comes in at 50 points, has the Wakanda and Warrior keywords. We got his trait, or he also has improved movement, ignores hindering terrain, as well as the trait Economics Genius. At the beginning of your turn, roll a d6. On a 5 or a 6, your opponents get action total -1 on their next turn, with a minimum action total of 2. Okay. Looking at the dial, we open up with a special power, Revolutionary and Subversive, giving him charge, sidestep, and stealth, which makes that improved movement really handy. That gives way to a couple clicks of sidestep. On attack, we open up with a couple clicks of Blaze Claw's Fangs, which gives way to a few clicks of Precision Strike. On defense, we open up with a couple clicks of Toughness, which gives way to a few clicks of Combat Reflexes. We're blank on the first click of damage, but that gives way. He clicks into Outwit and Close Combat, and then Close Combat Expert. Next up, we've got Nakia, also at 50 points. Yes, she's one of the Midnight Angels. Nakia comes in at 50 points, has the Wakanda and Warrior keywords, as well as the Wakanda Forever trait. Look at the dial, we get some sidestep, which gives way to charge. We click into Blaze Claw's Fangs. On damage, we open up with the special, or defense, we open up with a special power, Stolen Prototype Midnight Angel Armor, which gives her Defend and Toughness. Then and she gets that for a couple clicks, which then gives way to a couple clicks of Invulnerability. Then she's got her final click, finally on damage, we get a couple clicks of Close Combat Expert. Also, unlike everyone else on this team, she has the Flight ability. So that can be very useful, because she can carry people. Finally, we've got Black Panther. Yes, actually T'Challa. So Black Panther here comes in at 95 points. He has the team player team ability, which makes him a wild card. Looking at this, PD and Shield would be my options. He has the Avengers, Illuminati, Wakanda, Ruler, and Warrior keywords. He also has improved movement, ignores elevated terrain and hindering terrain. He's got 2 traits. First off, we've got a costed trait, which can be either 5 points or 15 points. Bearer of the Gauntlet. Black Panther starts the game with any one Infinity Gem from this set equipped. If you paid 15 points, you may start with any one Infinity Gauntlet equipped from this set. The other trait is Wakanda Forever. Now, as I don't have either a gem or a gauntlet, we're not worried about that. Looking at the dial, we get a couple clicks of charge, a couple clicks of sidestep, followed by a couple clicks of flurry. On attack, we open up with a special power, Absorbed Kinetic Energy. Quake. Quake is a free action, but only if Black Panther was hit since your last turn. Okay. That gives way to Blaze Claw's Fangs. Defensively speaking, first off, he's indomitable. Yay. I think he's actually the only one. Yeah, he's the only one on the team that isn't. That's got it. Then we got Invincible, followed by Toughness, followed by Super Senses. On damage, we open up with a couple clicks of Perplex, followed by a couple clicks of Outwit, followed by a couple clicks of Exploit Weakness. And that is our Wakanda team. Next up, we have ourselves a JSA team, Justice Society. Starting off, we've got Commander Steel. Commander Steel is one of the more classic members, though I do recall he showed up in Legends of Tomorrow. I want to say their first season, or maybe it was second season, but yeah. So Commander Steel comes in at 40 points. He's got the All-Star Squadron, Justice Society, Path, and Soldier keywords. He's got 2 traits. First is the Haywood Legacy. When Commander Steel hit with a close attack, after resolutions, deal the attacker 1 penetrating damage. Now note that it is penetrating damage, not unavoidable damage. Where unavoidable, it would ignore Invincible. As penetrating, Invincible ignores it. So, yeah. Then we have the trait A Simpler Time. Much like Most of the other older, or much of the more recent versions of the Golden Age JSA members. Once per turn for all characters with this trait, if a character uses the JSA team ability to replace its defense value with competitor's heals when targeted with a close attack. After resolutions, deal the attacker 1 penetrating damage. Alright. Looking at the dial, we got a click of charge followed by a couple clicks of sidestep. On attack, we got a couple clicks of super strength. Defense, we got indomitable and a couple clicks of invulnerability followed by a couple clicks of toughness. On damage, we open up with leadership, which then gives way to a couple clicks of empower. The leadership will be handy. Will definitely come in handy. Next up, we've got Cyclone, who I'm glad to finally see in the game. I've been teased with the possibility for her in the game since Origins. That was well over 10 years ago. But yeah, there was the map for Origins was the JSA Museum, and it included using sculpts. It had statues of members, enemies, so on, and allies. It included Cyclone and Sand, neither of which at the time had figures. Sand has since gotten a figure in Harley Quinn and the Gotham Girls, so we're getting there. Alright, so Cyclone comes in at 50 points, has the Justice Society keyword, and the Blown Away trait. Force Blast, Telekinesis. Once per turn when she uses one, she may use, after resolution, she may use the other at no cost, but only to target the same opposing character. So, you could use Telekinesis to put someone adjacent to you, and then Force Blast them away. Look at the dial, we got the click of Running Shot, followed by a handful of clicks of Sidestep. On attack, we open up blank, but that gives way to Quake and then Incapacitate. On defense, we open up with Toughness, followed by Energy Deflection for the rest of the dial, and nothing on damage. Moving on to, that's right, the Flash, Jay Garrick. Jay here comes in at 65 points, has the JSA team ability, which, by the way, the JSA team ability, I probably mentioned it before with other teams, but the JSA team ability allows them to share defenses. So, Flash comes in at, like I said, 65 points. He's got the Justice Society, Keystone City, Past, Politician, and Speedster keywords. 2 traits. First is Speed Force. When the Flash moves at least one square and hits one or more adjacent characters, you may place a speed token on this card, and after actions resolve, increase the Flash's speed value by the number of speed tokens on this card. Next up is the First Speedster. When the Flash's speed value would be modified, instead replace his speed value with the sum of his printed speed value and all current modifiers. Okay, that seems like how you do it anyway. So, looking at the dial, we open up with some hypersonic speed, which gives it a charge. Nothing on attack. So sadly, no Quake. Well, it's not. Yeah, he has to hit one or more, not one. It's not one for each one he hits. So we got open up. Then we got some willpower right off the bat, followed by combat reflexes. Now on damage, we click into the special power, Fighting for What's Right. Give the Flash a free action and remove a speed token from this card. When you do, you can use Flurry this turn. Okay, I really hope that it should line up with his charge clicks. Next up, we've got ourselves Wildcat. Wildcat here comes in at 65 points as well, has the JSA team ability. He also has the All-Star Squadron, Justice Society, Celebrity, Martial Arts, and Past keywords, as well as the traits. A simpler time. When a character uses the JSA team ability to modify or to replace or to use Wildcat's defense value, that character needs probability control, but only to reroll one of the dice in the attack. Next up we have the trait, sorry pal, I mastered that style before you were born. Adjacent opposing characters can't use close combat expert. Now that can be very helpful. Look at the dial, we got a couple clicks of charge followed by a few clicks of sidestep, a couple clicks of quake on attack, indomitable on defense, which, yeah. Followed by toughness, combat reflexes, and regeneration, which get him up to his second click. Okay. On damage, we open up with a couple clicks of empower, followed by a few clicks of close combat expert. Next up, we've got Mr. Terrific. This is another sculpt I really like. Mr. Terrific here comes in at 70 points. He's got the Justice Society, Terrific Celebrity, and Scientist keywords, as well as a trait T-Spheres. The free action, generate a T-Sphere bystander, maximum of 3, or place any number of his T-Spheres adjacent to him. T-Spheres have a trait Hover Mode. They don't. Opposing characters don't have to break away from them. They're tiny size. They have sidestep and toughness as well. 0 attack value, 0 damage value. And we've got the special power on the damage, Perplex, but only to target the character that generated this bystander, and only to choose a combat value that hasn't already been chosen by a teacher for this power this turn. Okay. Look at the dial, we got a click of stealth followed by a few clicks of sidestep. On attack, we open up with a few clicks of the special power, calculate the optimal angles. Precision strike. When Mr. Terrific makes a close attack, he may target a character within 6 squares adjacent to a T-sphere, regardless of adjacency. Okay. That gives way to Quake. On defense, we open up with Willpower, which gives way to combat reflexes. On damage, we open up with Outwit, which then gives way to probability control. Okay. I like figures with support powers that can also, play the smackdown if need be. And finally, we have Citizen Steel. He looks very much like Commander Steel. Yay, yay, sculptor use. Alright, so Citizen Steel comes in at 110 points and has the JSA team ability. He also has the Justice Society and Celebrity keywords. And 2 traits. First off, the Haywood Legacy. When hit with a close attack after resolutions, deal the attacker 1 penetrating damage. Next up is to fight Gog. Gog, G-O-G, by the way. Opposing characters with the colossal damage symbol can't be placed within 3 squares of Citizen Steel. If he costs 110 points, they can't be placed within 4 squares, but they can still be moved within 4 squares, but just not placed. So keeping him at you kind of want to make sure people are the rest of the team would be close in to avoid colossal retaliation. Alright, so looking at the dial, we get a couple clicks of charge followed by a handful of clicks of sidestep. On attack, we open up with a few clicks of Quake. On defense, first off, he's indomitable, and then we open up with a special power, can't knock me down. It's kind of my thing. Invincible. Citizen Steel can't be moved or placed by opposing effects. So, no opposing TKs can work or TK, Force Blast, yeah. Now that's going to work on him. After that, we get a couple clicks of Impervious, followed by a couple clicks of Invulnerability. And on damage, we have a full dial. Full, start to finish, of Close Combat Expert. And that is it for this week's Building the Team. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to be notified when I put new content. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal are in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.